Hey y'all. Hey, 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 hey. I am at the park. I am at my little duck off spot. Um, Not many people know about it, but this is my little duck off spot. So if you see me got my neck on and my head on the swivel, I'm out here by myself, so I have to make sure I'm attentive to my surroundings. Um, but y'all, today I really want to talk about how to effectively process your emotions. Cause I don't know if it's just a cultural thing. I don't know what it is. Like I don't know. I know I wasn't taught to suppress my feelings. I think I was taught to. I mean, excuse me. I don't think I was taught to deal with my feelings. I think I was taught to suppress my feelings. And so now I'm trying to teach myself at 29 years old how to effectively process my emotions, right? Um I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I don't know because see, this is another thing. Let me state this disclaimer. I am not a therapist. I have worked in social services. I do have a background in human services. I also have a degree in human learning and development. So I have to state that disclaimer because I don't want anybody to say, well, this is what she taught. Clinically, I don't have a license. I don't have any of these things. Okay. So what you hearing is solely based off experience. Okay? So going back to it. How to process your emotions. So I think during this after I had the breakup, I literally had to teach myself how to process my own emotions. I don't know if y'all were taught that. I wasn't taught that. I just didn't know how to do it. I thought that when you fail, you just supposed to get back up and keep going. Like in essence, you do, but you also have to be present with your feelings. You have to be present with your emotions. And I think what people often get afraid of, I don't think that I don't think that people are afraid of processing their emotions. I think people get afraid because when you process your emotions, if you don't have the ability to pull yourself out of it, then you get stuck and it absorbs you and you fall into a mental health breakdown or you fall into depression or you anxiety overtakes you. Okay, but let me tell you, when processing your knowing how to process your emotions when something traumatic happens to you is vital in your healing process. It is so vital. So that means, and we can use my example, for example. After the breakup, it was days I woke up that I wanted to sleep under a rock. It was days I woke up that I just wanted to stay in bed and keep the curtains closed all day. But towards the latter part of it, it was days where I woke up and I was like, I feel good. Like I don't know, you know. And so, but that's the thing about emotions, right? They're fickle. They're so fickle. Like they're here today, they're gone tomorrow. Like you just kind of got to learn how to process them, take for what you need from them and move on. So, let me say this. When I was processing my emotions, because I think that is why I'm okay, because I'm learning, I'm relearning or reacclimating myself with a new way of life, which is very different. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's very different. But I'm very adaptable, so I'm picking up on it well. But every feeling that I felt during this breakup, I felt it. So I didn't just when I woke up some days and I felt like crying, I just cried. When I woke up some days when I feel like getting up twerking, I got up and twerked. You know what I'm saying? Like when I woke up some days and I felt neutral, I think that was okay too, right? And I think that we were taught, and I don't know who taught us this, society, culturally, whatever, if it was passed down, whatever. But we were taught like you move on by moving on to the next person. Nah, that's not how you move on. No. That's why we got a society of people that are meeting new people, but the same person, for lack of better words, that they dealt with before. So they're meeting new bodies, but it's just the same person, because that's a reflection that you haven't done your healing work. That's a reflection that you haven't done your shadow work, because your shadow is following you. That's literally what that is. So, let's talk about how to process it. First of all, you have to feel it. You have to feel it. You have to be present with it. You have to be one with it. You have to. Like, you have to feel every part of that emotion. You have to feel it. Okay? And sometimes when you have to be very careful though. Like this takes a little emotional intellect, right? It takes just a little bit. You absolutely should feel it. You absolutely should feel it. But you also should absorb it. And when you absorb it, it may make you want to cry. It may make you want to go to the gym. It may make you want to go punch something. Like, do things in reason, of course. But feel that emotion and feel everything that comes with it. Feel it. Feel it. Because if you feel it, you teaching yourself to be present with yourself. You teaching yourself that a couple of things. It's okay to feel how I feel, right? So I don't know about y'all, but I was taught that it ain't okay. You don't always have an opinion. You don't always have a say-so in things. And I don't think it was like intentionally taught that way. I just think it's a cultural thing. That's how we were raised. Like, shut up, do what you told. Like, so you don't really have. And I was raised, to be honest, raised in a very free home. My parents allowed me to have freedom of speech. My parents allowed me to speak, but it's still certain things I had to have parameters on. So be one with the emotion and be present with the emotion. Absorb the emotion. Do whatever you need with that emotion. Okay? After you do that, after you process that emotion, identify that emotion no longer serves you. Reaffirm yourself of whatever it took from you. For an example, we'll use my situation as the example. When I left my relationship, I didn't feel worthy as a woman and as a potential future wife to be. I didn't feel like I was worthy as a woman to be married. Even though I know I'm worthy of that. Like, I know that. But I'm just saying that's what I felt when I left the relationship. And so when I felt that, I absorbed that. And when I absorbed it, let me tell you what helped me. It like immediately dawned on me, like, what? Girl, you're worthy of a husband. Like, you never struggled with getting a husband. You just wasn't ready for it. Like, and now you're ready for it. You just tried to settle down with the wrong person. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're not worthy of it. And so, but the only way that I was able to reaffirm myself with that is because I had to experience it. And when you sit in something long enough, you be like, what am I doing? This is not even who I am, right? So it taught me to reaffirm myself and say, no, I am worthy. I am enough. I've always been enough. I will make better decisions in my future. I will be a better woman, not only for myself, but for my son. So I'm just reaffirming myself with all these things, because guess what? Even after you deal with that emotion, it doesn't necessarily mean that it just goes away. You process it, right? It don't just go away like that though. It'll resurface itself periodically. But as it resurfaces itself, because you have already processed how you felt about it, you turn around and you reaffirm it with what you believe. So if back to my example, if I felt like I wasn't worthy enough to be his wife or a wife, if I have those thoughts in my mind, I come back and say, you are worthy. Girl, you beautiful. Girl, you got this thing on lock. Like, and so, and sometimes you got to get cocky with it, because it's not only is it power in the tongue, but it's power in emotions and movement. Okay? So when you feeling sad, get up and move. Just get up and do something. You can get up and dance, you can get up and go walking. Get up and move. And while you're in motion, reaffirm that, right? Reaffirm that to yourself. Reaffirm that to the world. For an example, let me show y'all. Hold on. All right. So let's say hypothetically, we going back to the example, right? And a thought of lack come into my mind, or not worthy. So I'm walking around and I'm saying, no, Brianna, you are worthy. You are worthy. You can attract any type of man. You are deserving of any type of man. You're deserving of the man that God has for you. You're doing this, you're doing that. So I'm walking around and I'm almost pacing, right? I'm walking back and forth, telling myself these things. And because guess what? Because you're in motion, y'all, energy has to move. It has to move. It don't just disappear. It just moves. That's all. So if all that negative energy was in here, when you got up and you moved and you started affirming yourself, you then moved it. You moved it. You moved it. You moved it wherever you moved it to. It ain't up here no more. Right? So how to process the emotions? That, I really think, is really just that simple. Absorb it, feel it, deal with it, and then affirm yourself. Okay? And it almost is like that's the habitual process that you have to have every single time you feel a negative emotion. And guess what? You'll get to a point where you don't even have to process it anymore. You can just immediately affirm yourself and say, I am worthy. I am enough. I do that with myself now. I don't have to process the thought of like, oh, maybe. No, I tell myself that God is sending my husband to me. God is working on me while he's working on my husband too. He's both working on us simultaneously. And so whatever it is that I'm affirming myself, I'm more than enough. I'm beautiful. I'm capable. I'm magnificent. I'm this. I'm that. I'm doing it now. So I don't have to process the thought or the emotion of I'm not worthy, because I have already processed that. And I have already identified that that's a thought that's not self-serving. It doesn't serve me in the phase that I'm in my life. So I have to learn how to release it. And even if it resurfaces itself, I'm reaffirming it. That's all I'm doing. Feel it, absorb it, reaffirm yourself with it, and move on from it. And see if that works. But I hope y'all have a great day.